It's time for more magic on the channel. Welcome everyone. This is Freestyle Friday, which is going to be a weekly series of me being a bit more on the experiment side of things, being a bit more, willing to brew with new cards, being a bit more willing to play decks without having a ton of practice, and then kind of get the whole fun and the whole just going with the flow vibe into my content. So hopefully that will amount to us finding new actual metagame decks, turning a lot of stones, and learning along the way and having a ton of fun. And today we're going to start with a mouthful here, not only because it's an 80-card deck, but because there's a lot to unpack here. Quickly, let me set the table. A few weeks ago, I played against a deck in the challenge that absolutely crushed me. The deck had 60 cards: Tamiyo, Halfling, Noble, Plagon, Nadu, and then it also had like Nomads in core and Shaman in core. So it's kind of like a Nadu mid-range deck with Plagon. So let's give Plagon a read here. 3 mana 0/3. When it enters, you draw a card for each creature you control with toughness greater than its power. So we're basically looking to play good cards which have a higher toughness than their power in order to make this card worth our while. So the activated ability on this card can, come up. It helps with triggering Nadu, so that's kind of cool. Some auto includes like Ponder, Brainstorm, Plows, Endings, Forces. Not too interested in those, to be honest. So let's talk about the good stuff here. Tamiyo is good on his own. Halfling, Noble, those are good on their own. There's a little bit of concern about drawing mana creatures in the mid-game. There's a little bit of concern about Noble dying to Bowmasters, but I think it has very high potential. I really love that Halfling ramps into Uncounterable, Teferi, Nadu, and Plagon. So that's some good cross synergy. And then I talked to this player on Discord afterwards, and my suggestion was that we play Stoneforge Mystic instead of Nomad in core and Shaman in core. Simply because it kind of does a similar thing when it comes to Nadu by tutoring for Shuko. I realize we can only combo Sorcery Speed with Shuko, but, that's somewhat a reasonable concession since we're getting some good equipments. Aware was an auto include, and then the other player suggested Assimilation Aegis, which is basically like, you tutor up a removal spell with Stoneforge Mystic, basically. So let's just give this card a read for anybody who doesn't know it. So 3 mana, when it enters, exile up to 1 target creature until this leaves the battlefield. So kind of like what we're used to with cards like Oblivion Ring, etc. So whenever the Aegis becomes attached to a creature, for as long as it remains attached to it, that creature becomes a copy of that creature. So like some really bad things can happen for the opponent with this card. And, Pitch to Force of Will is like a serviceable card to draw. Formal Wear is especially awesome in matchups where we get like pushed, we get pyroblasted, and then at that point, this is just a very good recursive tool. 3 mana equipment. As it enters, you can reanimate a creature with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard, and then attach this one to it, which is, just a nice little bonus. When I was building this mana base, after we kind of settled on Yorion, I really wanted 12 fetches, 1 of each basic. The 2 good surveil lands, like non-green-white combination. And then I want more green mana because that's kind of my starting mana with Halfling and Noble. So 3 drops, single Savannah, and a couple of Tundras. And then in the what I would call spell land slots, there is a single copy of Caracas, single copy of Besager, and then a couple of Sagas. A couple of Sagas are basically cards that let our Nadu be a better card because we have more access to our Shukos that way. And it's kind of I don't know. The cost of playing a couple of Sagas is not that big, so I actually think it's a cool idea. It slightly bolsters our sideboard as well. Speaking of sideboard, when we're playing 80 cards, one of the biggest challenges is checking enough boxes, and this deck will most likely have that kind of trouble. We have Consign against Eldrazi and other One Ring decks, Hydros against Prison, 4 Negations. Again, we have to think about the ratio here, and I want to hedge a lot against combo. And we have some hard graveyard hate and a single disenchant effect that is tutorable with Saga. So in theory, we have like 3 disenchants here, even though it's very slow via the Saga. And then a couple of Carpets, which will for sure improve any, basically like Delver, Breakfast, Dreadnought, whatever blue matchup we're talking about. Because especially in a Yorion deck, we can use our extra mana. So with that being said, I'm pretty excited to see how this plays out. So let's get to it. All right, let's get to it here. I lost a die roll, opponent on a mulligan. I think I have a reasonable hand here. I'm hoping I'm up against combo because of, you know, me having double force. I'm a bit scared about how to play around / try and ignore Wasteland, but let's see if we learn more from our opponent's first turn here of the game. Oh, shoot. Maybe this is good for me. Let's do a quick resolve here. I mean, opponent might name Force of Will, but, you know, that's just how it goes. Double Force of Will goes to the yard. Am I supposed to counter there? I don't know. I think it's a hard play to make, but who knows? Let's play out Tamiyo and hope for the best. So very obviously I could die here. Okay, so next turn I assume my opponent will have their combo creature. Wow. I'm not even sure I deserve that draw. That was insane. That was simply insane. So now I flip my Tamiyo. Okay. So you can get rid of one of these cards for good, and that's probably supposed to be the Prismatic Ending. That card doesn't seem very useful. And then which card do I want to, you know, save on top of the deck? I just really don't think that's going to be relevant. I messed it up. I messed it up. I clicked in the wrong order. Okay, I need to log in here. This is kind of embarrassing. Yeah, let's get rid of that card, because that was also bad, thankfully, I guess. But I was supposed to have a Stone Fortune on top and an ending in my yard. One passes, so now I can get back the Force of Will. And I don't know my top card, so let's check for a land, I guess. We do spike the land. Oof. Yeah, messy play here. Really not ideal. Of course, the opponent is a Pact of Negation deck, but I guess I'm trying to build up to Triple Force here. So I guess play Teferi to make Pact of Negation a non-factor. I do need all my blue here, so let's tick up and pass the turn. If I need to double force, I can even bring back another one and bring back the Yorion. So the opponent is trying to clear the way here with Unmask. They see the kind of the bad news here with the second force. Let's see if we can get this one over the line, because we also do have to bury our opponent. Otherwise, you're just going to win slowly instead of winning fast. Teferian play makes Pact of Negation a non-factor, but discard spells are still good. If nothing happens, I can Surveil in a turn. It will kill my Tamiyo if I bring back the force. I can, of course, play a new one if I want to. Yeah, interesting stuff. The opponent's thinking about the Unmask here. Takes Nadu, which is, you know, understandable. Taking something that is not redundant. Trying to buy time to kind of power through the forces. Let's see. In this scenario, I will pitch to Tamiyo if I have to force this turn. Let's go for a Hedge Mace here. I'm very sad about this ending. A random blue card. Okay, so keep that Ponder. Bring back Force for the triple force, which is pretty awesome. Bring back Yorion. Let's see here. Now I have force, 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 blue, blue, blue. So I guess I don't do anything now. If nothing happens, I can end step the Ponder thanks to Teferi. Should have obviously left up Meticulous Archive here, because I could also instant speed ending in case my opponent decides to do something stupid. Foxwalkers. That card is not a problem. So I'm just going to bounce that with Teferi. Oh, right. Okay, well, I guess this is what's going to happen. So the opponent's going to Therapy, kind of free roll, getting back the Puckswalkers. Wonder what I should pitch here. Could Ponder in response to kind of make my decision better, but I don't think that's viable. Let's just pitch the Yorion here. I think that's totally reasonable. And then I'm going to bounce the Poxwalkers and kind of spin my wheels a little bit here, hiding behind some stuff. So if I want to, I can flip a Tameo. Should I do that? Unclear if that's good. So maybe just wait with that. Let's bounce here. Draw land. Land is not perfect. I guess I go... I guess I just go land pass. Hardcasting Force is decent. Okay, so this game gets a tiny bit complicated here because I also have to win at some point. I think the way I turn the corner is bring back yet another Force with Tameo, but it does require a ton of blue cards. This is actually a pretty good game to start off with. I actually like this quite a bit. Oops, all spells with Unmask. That's just super terrifying. I needed to get super, super lucky this game with the Therapy. That was brutal. So I take the turn plus the fairy. So I guess I pass once more. But next turn I kind of have to think about playing out a halfling. For now I like Hardcast Force. But I can actually lose this game, which is terrible. So I guess let's draw Brainstorm. So that makes, I guess, playing out some stuff better. Now I can force keep one card. And now at least I have the mana to do something while holding up the Force, and I feel like this is my opponent's turn to do something. This game is very complicated, especially when you have, you know, never played a deck before. Yeah, you just have to process on the fly here. So I hope it's enjoyable, even though I'm not too sure what's going on. I have a lot of good draws in my deck for obvious reasons. My opponent has less, but they're more impactful, I guess, because they actually win the game on the spot. I guess something like Endurance would just ice this game. Ball Therapy is going to be a no from me. Question is, what am I pitching here? The Tameo could kind of run away with the game. Maybe this is where I pitch the Ponder. Let's not let that happen. And now the opponent is in this spot again where, you know, I think the Poxwalker is annoying. Ritual resolves. Here's Poxwalker. That also resolves. So the good thing for me is right now my opponent does not know that I have a Brainstorm. So now I can go and hide the Force Will and have access to it next turn, which is going to be kind of backbreaking for my opponent. Play Brainstorm, put Force of Will on top of the deck, and maybe this is my window to get rid of Prismatic Ending. Brainstorm response here, super solid. An added bonus of that card is hiding stuff on top of your deck if, you know, your opponent is not going to go for it. So obviously the opponent can go, you know, land, ritual, pedal, go off here. Then we just have to kind of take that loss. But it should be good here. Allow. So let's get rid of ending. Put force on the top. That card is in play. Yeah, go ahead and name. I'll plow that thing end of turn. If they name plow, it's totally fine. Plagon is going to draw me a ton of cards. With that being said, I don't have that many relevant cards in my deck. Okay, naming Tameo here is decent. Plowing end of turn, drawing the force. So now Plagon will, if I play out Noble first, I'm drawing 4 cards. The Fairy will draw me another card if needed, so I think I'm willing to do that. So let's see. Play Noble. Like that, like that. I don't know, maybe we can tap 1 halfling. Draw 4. We do hit a little bit of something. Develop an Ursa Saga. We could bounce the Plagon and go again. I guess that's how you play. So let's fetch. Tundra seems fine. So bounce. Like we can actually free roll a Noble first. Let's do that. Plagon, draw 5. We're not icing the game just yet, because we still only have that 1 Force of Will. Stoneforge is currently bad. I guess we have a Nadu in our graveyard, so it might not be bad, I guess. Let's see. So Prismatic Ending is terrible, and we can discard our worst land. I think that's reasonable. The next turn we can go... Well, we might die, so let's... First things first, I guess. But if we get the turn, I can then go Stoneforge. So we have to counter this one. Let's just pitch a Plagon. So now I think I can plow through my deck. Let's see. How many forces do we have left? 1 Force of Will left. So a line here could be Stoneforge for the Formalware, which gets back Nadu. That is a 6 mana play. Then I play Shuko and I start equipping. Then I basically draw my deck. Is that better than Plagon? Yeah, I think it is. So let's go tap, tap, Stoneforge Mystic, Formalware, tap, 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 bring back Nadu, play Shuko, and this is where things get a little bit boring. So now I'm drawing a bunch of endurances, bunch of forces, and the opponent concedes. I'm just going to throw them a thanks. So now they kind of see what the deck is about. They saw the endurance, which is an important piece of information exchanged. But overall, pretty solid showing. I drew enough forces to stay afloat, despite getting blown out by the Cabal therapy. Let's see. I like consigns. I like counters. maybe I like Haywire Might. This one seems incredibly bad. Let's get rid of the Aegis. Ending is terrible. The Plows, we need to beat the Poxwalkers. Like the Fairway. And then we have to cut one more card. Shuko, Stoneforge. The Formal Wear was randomly good, but I really don't think it is good. Is that true, though? Yeah, I think it's true. So maybe we get rid of that. We like the other cards. Bunch of blue cards. Our draw things, our acceleration. We're keeping all the lands because we might not have that much else. Yeah, I mean, let's see if we can overpower the Oops deck. I don't know if we have enough cards between 8 forces, 4 endurances, 2 cages. I feel like I can't keep a hand without those cards. Like, this hand is just not going to cut it, so. Mulligan into a negation. Let us see. Keep. Get rid of a noble. So, this deck puts a lot of pressure on your opening hands, and I'm not sure our deck can withstand that. So, clearing the way with the Thoughtseize turn 1 is the dream for the opponent. And then I think it's... Oh. Okay. Opponent takes the Brainstorm. We draw another Teferi. Let's play Noble. So I guess the opponent maybe has Pact of Negation. Or can simply beat the negation post-combo. Okay. So the opponent clears the way once more. So basically they took the Brainstorm because they didn't want me to find like 2 good cards off the Brainstorm. I assume I'm losing next turn, but let's see. Draw Brainstorm. Not bad. Maybe I just lead on that card. I don't think I'm allowed to... Wow. I was about to say, I don't think I'm allowed to just assume my opponent has nothing. So let's see here. Am I supposed to develop the Saga? Is that good? The alternative is getting my shuffle in, drawing a random card next turn. Do I believe 1 Force of Will is enough? 1 Force of Will and some Saga beats. Is that enough to win this game? Or would I prefer random cards? So what's the alternative? The alternative is something like putting away these 2 lands, surveilling, pitching, playing 1. That's one way to put it. What's the other one? Then I have to draw... I can only get rid of 1 card. Develop Saga now, then fetch next turn. Then I can only get rid of 1 card for good. But maybe that's alright. Okay. I'm actually going to believe my bad beat down here. Let's see. Act for Uno. Hope to counter a combo piece and get some turns to win the game. Let's see. Also, funnily enough, I don't have time to deploy these to fairies. Because I'm going to be busy activating Ursa Saga, but that's okay. Not bad, it's just an observation. Next turn I draw the fetch. Then I get in for 1, make a token. Let's see. Here's a Spy. Force of Will. Resolves. And now I hope for the best. What's best, surveilling or attacking for 1? Let's see. Put my opponent to 5 from Noble. Next turn, then make a 1/1. Make another 1. That turns into a 2/2. Search up Shuku, makes it a 3/3. Okay, so I actually think I have... If I attack this turn, I have lethal. Next turn. So my opponent needs to kill me now. or I win the game, if my math is correct. Tundra. Make a creature. Make a creature. Shuko. Attack for 5. All right, we got the job done against Oops here. Got pretty lucky with some clutch drawing into brainstorming into force when we needed it, but I guess we take those. So yeah, nice start for the starfish, and yeah, let's try and keep it up. All right, round 2 after beating Oops all spells in round 1, and let's have a look at this one on the draw here. This might be one of those hands where it's simply too much stuff that can go wrong between getting wasted or fetching a basic, both terrible. Me having a ton of expensive cards in hand, no defense aside from a plow to what the opponent is doing. On the draw, like on the play, I keep this. Really don't think it's good enough on the draw, but it hurts a lot to put this card, this hand back. It doesn't take much more than like one of these Plagons being a, you know, cantrip or force of will to keep, but yeah, I'm gonna mulligan that one and not feel great about it. Okay, this hand is gonna be a keep, and I'm gonna have to kind of gamble or, you know, lean on the fact that Prismatic Ending is a good card. Caracas, is that better than a forest? Probably is better than a forest. So yeah, I mean, not ideal, but this deck has some potential. Don't like I don't like this. Okay, fair enough. What are we working with? Another Oops would be hilarious. Unmask Pitch Gristlebrand, target themselves. Yeah. So we can just safely oh, Goryo's Vengeance even. Okay, so we can just concede here. The opponent just knows that we're a Yorion deck. They don't even know that we, you know, we're a Force of Will deck. We might as well be some Death and Taxes type of deck, right? So not a lot of magic played. That's how it goes sometimes. I'll get rid of those. Get rid of those. Keep us. I mean, Formal Wear is probably going to be terrible. Haywire Might does interact with stuff like Animate Dead. And that probably makes it better than a plow. Usually if something bad happens in play, stuff are just already gone to worse. Maybe just a single consign over. Maybe we can run like a couple of consigns. Might do something. Might pitch to a force. Oof, that was brutal. Brutality happened. And then we get a hand like this. Doesn't do anything against fast Reanimator, but it would be amazing against, you know, any fair deck. Have to mulligan. That's how it works. That's the rules. So we can keep this hand and get rid of the Besaidu probably. Let's get rid of Besaidu. Turn 1 Savannah Noble. So on the good part about this is this does not scream Force of Will at all. But the thing is, which scenario am I even trying to manipulate with that fact? I mean, if my opponent plays an Entomb or Looting, I will force that card. And if they have a discard spell, they will play the discard spell before. Oh, going to cleanup here is brutal as well. Well played. Oh, they don't. Okay. They don't go to cleanup. I draw second force. Second force is awesome. So I can go into a cool plane here of putting Yorion into hand. And now I have double force, and the Saga is kind of providing the chip damage down the road. I feel like, okay, I was about to say, I feel like I'm getting Entombed here because the opponent thought I was a non-blue deck. I did not get Entombed. So, could get Entombed here. Thoughtseize, this is where we just let the Thoughtseize resolve and hope that the second force is good enough. All the while, the Saga, we basically need to buy time until Grafdigger's Cage arrives out of the Saga. That's kind of the goal. I'm interested to see if the opponent goes for a force and take their medicine, or a Plagon and try and get a little cute with it here. We go for the force. So let's see if our opponent can power through that or not. I'm going to counter anything that enables a fatty in the graveyard. Let's see. I might not get that chance. Is this Cabal Therapy? That would be annoying. It's Dark Ritual. I'm going to let Dark Ritual resolve. I don't think... Yeah, I'm going to counter this, buddy. Thoughtseize on themselves is the same as, you know, entombing. Otherwise, you wouldn't point it at yourself, right? So let's see if I just lose to the nuts here. I don't, actually. Kind of escape here, which is kind of cool. Plagon, Teferi, or make a token. Probably the Plagon. Yes, we dig a little bit here. Oh, wow. Problem with that is... Oh, wait. We can do some sicko things here. I can play Teferi, bounce my own Noble, and have Endurance Pitch. Teferi, bounce Noble, have Endurance Pitch, and then I'm getting a cage next turn. Okay, I really like this. Ball Therapy target themselves. I think that is super duper. They get the fatty into the graveyard, then they play the reanimation spell, and we somewhat blow them out here. So the opponent did sideboard in the Wither Bloom plan. Bouncing the Noble, they didn't smell the danger, which is awesome for me, obviously. So now the opponent's hand is Animate Dead and Wither Bloom Apprentice. Trying to think about what to do here. If I make the mana, I can play Tameo. Kind of feel like attacking here. Maybe that's wrong. Kind of feel like attacking. If I make a token, that is a 2/2. And I pass the turn, don't do anything else. The next turn I play Tameo, attack with a 2/2. Maybe the 2/2 is just so inconsequential. Is that an argument for playing the Plagon to simply cantrip? I might actually do that. Really not my favorite play here. I think it's going to be good for me to take Cage because it makes their Entomb draws and stuff like that bad. So let's cycle the Plagon to use our mana a little bit better. Drawing a second one doesn't really do much. Opponent draws a land. Animate Dead is a dead card. They could expose the Apprentice. Unclear if that's what they want to do. They will expose the Apprentice. I like that play. I don't have much going on here. Shuko is not a card I want. So basically I go Tameo, attack for 3, I guess. I will lose to Chain of Smog. So I have to think about closing out my opponent. Do they play 2 Surveils? Ooh, that's brutal. Good selection here. They put in Unmask the Yard. And they drew a brick. Well, guess I'm just blocking here. Something like, I don't know, Collective Brutality could be annoying, but... Okay. So I can attack for 6 here. How do I feel about bouncing the Apprentice? Maybe that's a decent play, because then I'm playing around my opponent drawing the chain, but can't develop both. Bouncing that. If I play Plagon, I flip the Tamiyo. But I also have to think about winning this game, I feel like. I have to get my opponent dead. Maybe I cast Condor, see what's going on. Force Negation is awesome. So let's just draw into that card. Flipping this because I forgot about the Tamiyo. I forgot about the Teferi. That was actually annoying. Thankfully, my opponent thinks it's over here. So yeah, forgetting about the Teferi cantrip was not ideal because I actually think I was about to attack here. But I really love the endurance play. Bouncing my own noble to have the green card was amazing. So now my opponent knows that I'm a force deck, that I'm an endurance deck, that I'm a cage deck. So I think that will make them rely more on the creature plan. So now I really want to get the plows back in there. Let's see, the ages. Is that ever gonna be relevant? It is blue, so it's not nothing. Haywire Might is very, very niche. We can cut that card. I'm not super in love with the Stone Forges nor the ages either. I actually like all the plows here because I believe my opponent will play into that plan a little bit. Teferi is not great, so maybe that's actually worse than ages. I really think that is the case. What if we cut all Stone Forges and keep these blue cards, not because they're good, but because they're blue? What about Consign? Okay. I think I'm going to submit it like this and hope for the best. This is kind of a gamble with the plows, but I feel like with the way the game has been going, they saw Endurance, they saw Cage. I feel like my opponent is more likely to try and lean on the Chain of Smog and Magecraft plan, but, you know, could be wrong about that one, of course. That's my gut feeling. And now we have another hand that would have been just fine, but now it's terrible, so we have to mulligan. Now we have a hand with a single piece of interaction that we kind of have to hope is good enough, so we keep opponent on the mull to 5. Let's see. I want to play the Noble. Yeah, so I guess Plagon is the only card I can get rid of here. The opponent's deck has a lot of like Thought Seizing, Unmasking, Cabal Therapying going on, and those cards can clear the Endurance quite easily. But sometimes my opponent has to use those to, you know, develop in order to build their own plan. So here I'm deliberately tanking here to basically manipulate my opponent a tiny bit into naming Force of Will. If you just let it instant resolve, they might do something else. So I'm just trying to do my part here. Hopefully they name Force of Will. If they do, I like my spot. If they name Endurance, that's very, very awesome from them. They name Force of Will, which is very good for me. I have the Endurance, so now they have to clear the Endurance and then go off from a low amount of cards. Drew the Trop. I don't think it's that big of a deal to give up that info, so if somebody wants to fetch a Trop there, I don't mind. That would also be just fine. Obviously, this hand is losing to the Chain of Smog part of things. I actually forgot about that briefly. Another Nadu. Is this a turn to play Nadu and then Plagon next turn, or do I want to draw 2 now? I feel like drawing 2 now is good. Mainly because I allow myself to get a little lucky. Drawing something like a Force, or I guess an extra Endurance. Worth noting is that Plagon and Nadu also combo with each other with the activated ability. So here's Spoils of the Vault. I could lose here. Like, this could just be me losing to, you know, land, Dark Ritual, 2 combo pieces. Well, or it could be me beating an opponent who killed himself with Spoils of the Vault. The opponent named Thoughtseize here, which is probably decent, right? Clear the way and try and win. Yeah, that was a bit of a that was not a fun way to go out. But yeah, I mean, I love like some of the small tricks you can do, and I've gotten somewhat rewarded so far. Let's play one more match before we wrap it up. All right, round 3 on the draw once more, which is not my favorite thing. I think this is just another case of it's simply not good enough. Like situational equipments hope to get the opponent with endurance. Like I don't even know what the plan is here. So very sad to mulligan another hand. This is a lot better. Force pitch force, pay late, cameo later, I guess. Get rid of the ending. Hope the plow is relevant against the opponent's deck. This is fine. Blooded Strand doesn't tell us a whole lot. Second land, I was about to say, would be awesome. I don't think I'm in basic land mode here. I'm in dual mode. It's a close decision, but when you play a 3-color deck and Halfling doesn't help cast, you know, white cards and blue cards, things can get a little bit iffy. That resolves. The opponent does not have anything, nor is interested in surveilling. So yeah, I mean, it could be anything here out of the opponent's deck. Basic island. So now the odds are it's a deck with more than a single basic island, but we shall learn more shortly. I've always wondered what this is in the background, and I feel like I should know. Oh, it's the same as the set symbol. So there's some horns going on there. Yeah, I want to get better at stuff like that. So we get to untap with Halfling. Well, maybe not. We do. Plagon was an amazing draw, so I guess we go... Do we attack? Is there anything that punishes us? Let's attack, play Tamiyo, and then next turn we can kind of do some brutal things with Plagon. So I'm hoping I'm up against a fair deck, because if that's the case, then the Plagon is going to be amazing. The Lord of the Beach. So far, we've succeeded taking down a few combo decks. Some very high variant. Like, we could easily have lost those matches. I'm not going to kid myself here. But I am going to be... Oh, wow. Lotus Field. But I am going to be... Oh, consigning here. This is awesome. So, keeping those 2 lands, copying the consign. Pretty awesome. Can't do anything about that. So now I'm going to go for Surveil. It was mainly just to say that I'm happy with the endurance deck building, and I'm happy with some of the small tricks that I've been able to pull. That kind of helped get over the hump. Land, is that good? I don't think so. I think I'm on the hunt for, you know, blue cards to pair with those forces. So let's attack first. Then play uncounterable Plagon that draws 3. Plagon, Lord of the Beach. Draw 3. Flip the Tamiyo. Connect on the second force. No land, though. But I guess that's fair enough. So we have double Force of Will. We can bring back one more with Tamiyo. So I guess, let's see, how do I play it? I probably pitch Ponder twice, hang on to Force, and then I can even use the Yorion as my next blue pitch. I don't have to return a random blue card for that yet. Prismatic Vista mana base with Lotus Field in it. Just a weird looking deck. Let's see. Let's see. The opponent has 5 cards, and they kind of have to overwhelm double Force of Will. That will be on the opponent's radar, because I, missed my land drop and stuff like Isochron Scepter. That's so funny. So I probably have to counter that card as things stand. Don't love it. I don't have access to Teferi nor Beseiju, so I actually have to counter that card, take my meds. Let's see here if the opponent can kind of power through our forces. Once again, we have this situation where I also need to win the game. I need to slam the door on the opponent. I can't just sit here all day unless, I start chaining some Plagons or whatever. I need to actually close out the game. Okay, opponent passes here, which is obviously good for me. Because now I get to, if I want to, at least, wow, more forces. That's awesome for me. So what does that tell me? I have double force. I feel like this is time to kind of develop something. Maybe that's just a Stoneforge Mystic plus the Tameo. And that just becomes my plan. Stoneforge for Shuko. Play Shuko. Plus pass next turn. If I need it, I can put Yor into hand. I can also start some chip damage. Well, for some reason I thought Shuko was equip 1, but oh well. So I missed out on a damage here. I really want to eliminate stuff like that, but I think that's just comes with the territory of playing, playing new decks. Supreme Verdict resolves. I have my Planeswalker in play that's going to win the game, so I don't mind that too much. Maybe I should crack this clue. What would the point be of cracking the clue? Randomly spiking the land, I guess. I don't spike the land, but I plus my Tameo, and now my opponent has to beat double Force of Will, or I'm gonna draw a gazillion cards. Oh, opponent has Orm's Chant. I don't think so, buddy. I have a feeling that's not good for me. Let's Force of Will the Orm's Chant. So now my opponent needs 2 great things. I will fight over a removal spell on the Tameo. Let's say a Prismatic Ending is cast. I will counter that card. Another Chant. Trying to think about what the point of countering this would be. I don't think there is any, unless Draw 7s is involved. Is Draw 7 involved here? I don't think so. I'm gonna let this go and see what happens. Looks like a cool deck. This could be like 5 mana to Fairy, maybe. Oh, 4th Eolingus. I see. Okay. 4th Eolingus it is. Thankfully, that card is beatable. Tameo is so annoying. My opponent needs to attack me and then get a couple of damages in on to Tameo. Okay. So, Brainstorm. Let's plus that card. Let's cast Brainstorm. I feel like that's a good idea. Feel like I need to try and hit my 3rd land drop here. If I do hit my 3rd land drop, Shuko's a bad card. I think playing Stoneforge here is the move. So maybe play like this. Play that. Fetch Savannah, cast Stoneforge. So I already have the Shuko. This will kill one thing. So maybe go for a formal wear. Because I have Plagon in the graveyard. So now if my opponent sends the creatures at Tamiyo, I'm able to eat them with, well, one at a time at least, with Stoneforge because of the minus ability from Tamiyo. The opponent is the Monarch, though. So there's some expiration date on my plan here. Pretty cool slugfest. Let's see what else the opponent can do with that mana advantage. I only have one force available. If I gone for the Aegis, I would have had 2 forces available. Just worth noting here. It was a tough decision. Ending kills the Tamiyo. Hopefully we get to have another good force of will here. I wonder what this is. 5 mana. Fourth Eolingus and Lotus Field. I can respect that. Ormshan and Scepter, I respect that. Having consigns in a format with, you know, Eldrazi, One Rings, etc., that's kind of cool. It also combos with Lotus Field, of course. So now it's time to see what else the opponent put in this deck. Draw 3. I don't think I'm interested in that. That's too much. Force Pitch to Ponder, because I feel like this force could be important later. Removal spell for the Stoneforge would be annoying. It kind of looks like the opponent has to do some bad attacking here. Yeah, they have to do some bad attacking. So I get to eat 1. The Tamiyo goes to 6. Opponent draws a card. Let's hope that's not a removal spell. It was. Okay. That's annoying. So am I supposed to go? Yeah, I'm supposed to go formal wear here. So let's see. Activate. Funnily enough, the equip doesn't help here. Is this still a good play? Probably. So formal wear, return. It's Plagon to cantrip. Draw. Endurance. Stoneforge gets plowed. I draw another card. Okay. So whip onto that one. 3/5. Yeah, I mean this game is tricky. The opponent still has to kind of kill me before this Tamiyo goes off, and I failed to pair my Force of Will with another blue card, so they have the window. They keep the cards, so that's probably going to be bad for me. Prismatic Ending on that one. That is bad for me. So now the opponent is kind of trying to stall the initiative here. Oh, sorry, the Monarch. So let's get rid of one of them, end of turn to use our mana. Now I forced a chump block. Please don't plow me, bro. They don't plow me. They do. They let me untap here for negation, in theory. Yeah, I mean, it works. Very annoying. Blue card would be amazing. Mainly because that allows me to tap out for endurance end of turn. That's not the case here. Well, I think I need to develop a creature. Yeah, I think I need to develop a creature and kind of have to fade some good draws from my opponent. It's very rough. I just might lose to the Monarchy here, despite having very, very good tools. So let's cast Endurance. You get countered. The opponent's really riding this. Riding this Monarchy. So that did not work. Blue card? Not a blue card. So Play halfling, pass the turn. Now, of course, my opponent is not going to attack because I played the halfling. I should have equipped. I'm so lazy. Should have had a 2/2. So funnily enough, there is some upside to... Wow, the opponent is attacking once more. There's some upside to having it as a 1/2 because I played Plagon, but that was just bad. I guess get rid of the opponent's yard. I don't know if they are going to need it later. Wonder if my opponent... They didn't have a removal. Why did they... They must have something, because otherwise it's not good for them to trade the Monarch off. Supreme Verdict was the plan. Okay. Yeah, this is super annoying. So Yorion. Maybe I shouldn't play this Shuko because of Brainstorm. Okay, I'll try and not do that. Yeah, I'm losing this game. I actually thought I had this game under control. Bunch of forces. But I guess the opponent really showed the power of the monarchy here, and hats off to cool deck building. Maybe they're having a Freestyle Friday of their own. Land here would be great. But now I have to fade Force of Will, so I mean, who knows if it's great. Let's go for this. This will be quite game breaking if it resolves. Blink the formal wear, done. Gets plowed, all goody. Then I can bring back Stoneforge Mystic to get a blue card. That's actually what I'm gonna do here. Ooh, I'm getting consigned. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I didn't think about that. But I mean, I would have gone for this line anyway. I just like to be ahead of things. So I would have, you know, reanimated my Stoneforge Mystic, would have gotten the Aegis, which would have forced this one. I would have had a creature in play. I could have stolen back the Monarch, but instead I lose to Consign to Memory, getting rid of my equipment for good and negating all of the stuff I just said. So nice game. Bunch of basics here. Fetching. I guess I could just draw a Nadu at any second, and this would be quite awesome. So now we have Hardcast Force up, but the opponent has the Monarchy. And I expect to be dead shortly. I think my opponent just has a wall of stuff now. So now I go get Hedge Maze. Prismatic Ending, straight up brick. Delighted Halfling. Sure. So now I kind of have to... I'm fighting over a plow on a halfling. The opponent has 5 cards. This is over. If this doesn't stick, I might concede here. Let's see how things develop. I can basically only win if my opponent has 1,000 lands in hand and like, I don't know, negations and whatever. I'm obviously gonna give that a shot. Wow. Okay, this is crazy. So, yeah, let me just draw that card, see what happens. Plagon, which funnily enough, I've made worse by equipping the Shuko. So the problem is, yeah, exactly. If my opponent doesn't have, you know, stuff to deal with the halfling, they have a bunch of other good stuff. So the fairy, definitely one of them. So I assume my opponent will counter back here every time. with Force of Negation, probably, because if they had Force of Will, they would have counted the halfling, so it must have been Force of Negation. At this point, I've already become the Monarch, so I don't care as much. The opponent's on the lookout for another copy of Fourth Eolingus. They shuffled, which is, I guess, kind of good for me in a vacuum. I can go Halfling Stoneforge Plagon on my turn. Try and build some board presence. I don't think either of us expected this matchup today. So funny. So now, Stoneforge Mystic. Okay, Stoneforge gets Force of Willed. I don't mind that. So now I think it's better to go Plagon. I mean, I could slow down and try and get uncounterable Plagon next turn, but I think this is just better. Get forced again. Do I equip here? I don't even think I equip. Because I could draw another Plagon, and then at that point it just gets a little bit annoying. So let's pass the turn. I'm the Monarch, but the opponent has Teferi in play and infinite mana in their Fourth Eolingus deck, so yeah, I mean, I thought I was dead for a while, but let's see. Fourth Eolingus just kills me instantly. So I have to slam the door on the opponent some way. Yeah, maybe playing this Noble first, then trying to attack Teferi is a good play. So here's instant speed prismatic ending, kind of a cool play with Teferi. I'm then gonna brainstorm and see if I can develop anything sweet this turn. Let's see if holding on the Shuko for infinite turns will pay off. Looks like it did. So I've already drawn all of my cards, so I can't flip the Tamiyo. Worth noting. So let's fetch, look for Nadu, I guess. Play Ponder. Look for the bird. This is game 1, by the way. There's a bird. So can I trick my opponent by playing the Tamiyo out first? Is that even a thing? I'll try. Tamiyo. The Winged Wisdom. And I guess we start going here. Our opponent would have broken it up if they could, so let's go. Tamiyo has been equipped twice. Nadu. Plagon, pretty nice, but we need a land for that to really go nuts. Stoneforge Mystic. Fetch. Tundra. Stoneforge. Start equipping onto that one. Guess we take the Aegis this time. Caracas is a fun one. So now we have to pass. Which creature do I want equipped? Probably all right on the Stoneforge. So funnily enough, now I can use Caracas to save Nadu from Supreme Verdict. Could be relevant. Feel like I'm still losing to Fourth Eolingus, so this is a weird game. Next turn I really have to kill Teferi. Passing. Plus, the opponent has to pass. What a sick game. This is just crazy game. Orm's Chant. I can't do anything about that, and I can't attack, so resolves. That is very annoying. What's going to be important in this game? As long as the fairy is in play, me drawing into Force Will doesn't do anything. Well, I guess we just get going here. What a game. Because I kind of don't know what's going to be important in this game. I need to kill a Teferi, and then I need to kill my opponent. I guess that's just it. Ending was a good one. Play that. Past the turret, I don't have any agency here. Draw, discard, plow. Probably don't. Yeah, Plagon is drawing too many cards here, I feel like. It's just kind of funny to think about. Ponder. Discard a billion cards. And funnily enough, I have Endurance in my deck, so maybe my opponent can't even deck me here. Instant Speed could be Supreme Verdict. Here's another Teferi. Okay, so this means my opponent is desperate. They're not going to play out second Teferi unless they're desperate here. Both with 4 loyalty. Let's hope they keep the right one. Right click should say newly controlled. No problemo. I oftentimes play against players where something like that happens, and I'm like, so which cards did you take off Atraxa, whatever, and they just don't reply, which is kind of funny. So plowing the Nadu. Plowing the Nadu. Am I just supposed to Caracas it because it's just always optimal? Let's resolve that trigger. I guess return it. When it has 1 card in hand, has to return the Stoneforge. 1 loyalty on Teferi. I feel like I should just try and kill it with Prismatic Ending. Is that better than attacking it? I think against that deck it is. So white, this. Prismatic Ending on the Teferi. My opponent fight over this, I can attack it. It's no big deal. It's mainly just to get to the point of killing my opponent here. That's kind of the important thing here for me. So they're responding with a removal spell before my hand is unlocked. They don't know I don't have Force of Will, of course. Build a Noble, so I guess float blue. Sure. Then that card is dead. I kind of feel like that Plagon is the one that kills the opponents the fastest. I'm gonna flip my Tamio though if I do that. What happens if I get in for damage here, equip onto it twice? I don't wanna, let's see. Equip, play Shuko. Equip, attacking for 2. Yeah, this gets a bit complicated, actually. 9, green, blue, something. Play Nadu. Play Ursa's Saga. And I'm actually not too interested in triggering it, which is... Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm too scared here because I have Endurances in my deck, I believe. Let's see. While the opponent thinks here. 2 Endurances there. Yeah, I have 2 Endurances in my deck. That one is not dangerous at all. What a weird game. And there's Endurance. So I guess attack for 5. I think I'll upkeep that Endurance. Steal a little bit of mana in case the last card is Force of Will. Maybe I should have played something. I don't know. And I lost track of this game. Past Endurance. Could get consigned, of course. It don't get consigned. Now I have a full deck. Now I'm happy. Oh, that was too funny. Okay, that was game 1. Come on, man. This deck is not good for the super grindy games when I'm recording. Yes, Carpet is decent. Plows are bad. Hydros are surprisingly strong because of Orthiolingus. Orthiolingus. So I think this Aegis is bad. So we're adding these. This deck has actually been super fun to play, but in a matchup like this that just goes forever, it's brutal. So the endings and the might, those are actually decent because of, oh wow, I didn't mean to click. Meant to click that one. The endings and the mites are actually viable because they showed Orm's Chant. Yes, ending doesn't do it. I need onboard might, or I guess just get it via Saga, so it is viable. It's just not great. Endurance is not great either. So, but maybe this is fine. You'd probably have these negations though instead of questionable combo pieces. Maybe cut like a couple of Stone Forges, couple of Endurances. Shuffling 80 cards is definitely not nothing, so I feel my opponent's pain here. Maybe it's time to play fast this game. Maybe it's time to play fast this game. I'm gonna keep this. Play turn 1 Noble. Turn 2 Plagon and kind of go from there. Plagon plus Caracas is obviously insane, so let's see. I would hate if this came down to time, but I want to try my hardest to not be the one losing this to time. Opponent on them all to 5 with the control deck. Not ideal in your Lotus Fields pile of cards. Okay, so I'll go turn 1 Halfling instead. I think that's reasonable. There's no reason that my opponent's Pyroblast, theoretical Pyroblast is good here on the Plagon. So might as well play the uncounterable route to that. Also, if this just dies to a Prismatic Ending or Plow, I'm fine just playing the Noble after. It's no big deal. But I think this is slightly better because of the card Pyroblast might be in my opponent's deck. Okay, so that one is dead. So we know they don't have ending. They would have played that if they had it. And now I'm left with a mono blue hand. And only the noble as blue mana. So second Playa would be backbreaking. Teferia would be amazing. Scepter. Okay. And that's not my favorite card to see here, I must say. If only I had a Teferi. If only I draw a Prismatic Ending. This actually, if my opponent just passes here... Oh, put Pyroblast on it. That's... My god. I'm a G. Oof, that is insane. So... Prismatic Ending, buddy. That was so strong. And probably ultimately the reason why Isochrone's Scepter is not legacy playable or legacy, you know, tier 1 worthy, because like when bad stuff like that happens, so bad. My opponent plays Teferi here. I'm pitching Brainstorm. No, sorry, the other one. Hedge Mace. Get rid of that one. Try and spike Tameo, Noble, or Halfling, I guess. No luck. I think I wait with my land drop here because I play Urza's Saga. So Plagon, draw 2. And then... guess I Caracas it back right away. Is that correct? Sounds fine. Has to turn. Get my archive. Run it with a couple of cards in hand. Of course, could be Pyroblast, but this is where we're kind of free rolling. Is that card good? I should probably play that first, then Plagon. Yeah. Play Stoneforge. White mana is good to remember. Oh, this is funny. Sure, I got consigned, but then I draw 3 off Plagon, so I'm not too scared of this. So actually, I should have thought about like my opponent being some non-basic land hate type of deck. I think it's a little bit late to go for the basic land here, but I am gonna do it though. Plagon, draw 3. Pretty sick. I think I'll Caracas it on my opponent's upkeep here. And we should have this game locked up. Even stealing a mana here. Yeah, this is over for the opponent. Yes, sir, you got it. Okay, Lotus Field is cool for mana ramp here. Play Halfling. Play Plagon. A little bit of show off here. Draw 4. Play land. I could just play another one here. Sounds awesome. Enter. All right, that was a sweet 3-0 run with a nice brew. I think I'm going to leave it here. That was a cool first episode for the Freestyle Friday. Look, there's a few lessons to be learned here. I play against a cool deck. I chat up my opponent. We, connect on Discord. We chat back and forth, share ideas. I arrive at an interesting list. I play it on the channel. you guys get inspired, you write in the comments, you do some experimenting of your own, and then that's kind of how the dominoes fall in a very positive way. So I think this was very, very it was a success, right? I wanted to breed some creativity. I wanted to bring back some joy into the game. I wanted to play cool cards like this surfing Lord of the Beach. I mean, what more can you ask for? Even getting some sweet wins in the process, showing some ins and outs. I also got a little bit lazy at points, which I'm not happy about, but I think the positives outweighs the negatives a lot here. There could be some potential with this. Who knows? That's not up for me to decide, but I hope you guys had a lot of fun, and I hope you guys have an awesome weekend. I'll see you back next week for more sweet Legacy action. Bye, guys.